In this FL Studio 20 trap beat video, I'm gonna show you how to make a banger, and make sure you watch to the very end because I got a very special bonus at the end. So I'm gonna make it fast as possible. I'm not necessarily gonna try to perfect it or make anything like, you know, too time sensitive, but here we go. So sometimes when I'm making a track, oh here, let me put the headphones on. Alright, so sometimes when I'm making a track, I just like to get the idea out. You can always change the sounds and all that stuff later. The idea is usually what's most important, and I tend to like to run with the first thing that comes up. I'm gonna put it up higher. Let's see, around 196. Okay, so I would do this just like for the beginning, and then I'll change it later. I'll show you. I wouldn't even do that end part, but that's good enough for right now. I'll show you how I do it from there. I'll hold Alt and then hit Q to do a quick quantize. Okay, so I don't like that little last part I did, so I'll just keep this. So music moves in patterns. So we can say this is an A. If we take each bar 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 4 3 2 3 4 4 2 3 4, it's one bar each. 1 bar, 2 bars, and it's the same exact thing over and over again. So it's A. If you make a change in the second bar, then the format would be A. So let's say so that's A. Let's see how that sounds. So what's common in music is A. So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna change this one too. Let's see how that sounds. Let's just run with it, alright? Another thing you can do is you can hold Alt and hit L, which will extend all the notes in. We'll just keep it like that for now, right? And just keep moving forward. The idea right now is just keep moving forward because so many of us get caught up in the small things. We just want to keep moving forward, and we can always change the sound later. So let's see. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna copy this first note that I did is Alt C, and then paste it into this next channel, which will be, and then Alt V, and we're gonna then change the sound so that we can give it a different sound in the back of it. Maybe we'll go with like a pad this time. Let's see what that gives us. Oh, you know what? Bells have been popping lately, so I'll use a let's find a bell, like a pluck percussion. Okay, just for simplicity, let's just run with that. I'm actually gonna take the octave down 1 though. For this one, you take the octave down by holding Alt and then hit down. All right, so that's it. I'm also gonna drop the metronome out, and I'm just gonna keep it simple. We're just gonna start adding elements. Thought there was an ant on me or something. so that noise is super loud too. Oh wow, okay. So for your 808s, you can cut them. Use cut itself so they don't like blend onto each other and they don't get all super muddy. So with your 808s, if you have a MIDI keyboard, you might want to test out and with against. So that's an F. Okay, so that was random, and that's what I'm gonna do for the beat. So let's see how that sounds. You do Alt Q to quantize it. Okay, so you got your kick, and then you might want to also put another kick underneath it to give it more punch. So you want to stack that 808. You might want to stack that 808, and then just again do the same thing, control, and then paste on the next one. Okay, and then the melody might get a little bit too monotonous, so you might want to then put some type of effect on the melody. Like there's plugins like Glitch. I'll leave a link in Halftime. Halftime's a dope one. Let's try that one. And the thing is, you can do is you can put the halftime effect. You can right click it and click create automation clip, and what that will do is that will make it turn off and on depending on how you want it to. We'll get into that later, but essentially you can turn it on during like the hook to give your melody that variation, and then turn it back off during the verse. So for now we're just going to turn it off and we're going to keep moving. So we might hear some additional sounds, like maybe some additional hats, some open hats. Sometimes I'll just like put a sound out across so we can just hear what it sounds like. And then when I hear a sound, I think, how can this sound fit into the beat? Like make a little pattern up in your own head. See, I just hit that and I just kind of happened to hit it. I'll use it. That's a little trick. If you want to give more variance, more bounce in your beats, put a little bit of a snare right before the main snare that hits on the 2 and the 4, and then turn the velocity down. And here's that ever standard shaker in a lot of trap. So from here, you have just like a real basic loop, and then that's where the fun part begins. So you can, for one, if you have it 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, you can select all the rest of them, and then hold Alt and hit L, and that'll put each sound on its own channel. And then you open up your mixer, and then you can get starting to mix. The very easy way is just, and you know, all the purists out there, don't bite my head off. Like, just put your drums high and put the melodies low. That's kind of like a very quick, fast way to do it. Start with your kick, then you do your snare, then you do your hats, then you do all your percussions, and you kind of gradually get lower and lower from the kick. So kick around, let's say -6, your snares around -12, your hats around negative like 18 to 20, and then your sounds around -20 to like 22 in this area. That's not the answer to everything, clearly, obviously. It's not that easy, but if you want a good model to follow, that's it. And put your 808s lower than your punchy kick. Okay, looks like we have 2 instruments on the same. Okay, so for whatever reason, this one didn't get assigned. Okay. And so when you're doing your kicks, you can look on the side here, and then you can see the volume right here. It's like not going down. Okay, here it goes. Oh, the master, turn off your limiter. In the master track, turn off your limiter, because that might bring your sounds up or give you like a... But this one is like really not going down. It's all good. We can leave it right there. What you're hearing right now in the industry is a lot of dominating 808s. And when you're mixing and stuff, and when you're doing your drums, you want to have a groove like before any instruments. Before you bring in any instruments, you should have like a pretty dope groove that you like. Oh man! And I just turned down, and a lot of purists I know out there are like, hey, but man. Sometimes you gotta just keep it moving. Do the first sound. So yeah, this might do it for now, right? So let's just give it a quick mix, and then maybe even add like a multi-band compressor. And then one thing about the compressor you want to know is once you add it, right, it's divided into 3 sections: the low, the mid, the high. If you put the threshold all the way back here to -60 dB, you're gonna crush the sound of the lows. You hear it? And if you do the same thing with the mids, you're gonna crush the mids, and the same thing with the highs, you'll crush them all. And then when you bring it all up, you're letting them all pass. So if you want to put a preset on there, maybe something like a mastering 2.4 dB, you notice that they go here, and then put your gain up. And some people put like a soft clipper on the master track to make sure that there's no clipping. And then sometimes they say to turn your beat all the way down so you can hear what noises are still like audible at a real low sound, and that can tell you maybe your snare is too loud, you know, or there's some sound that's still like prominent even though it shouldn't be that. I could tell you like what's too loud. So this might be too loud. So where is it at? It's at around... My God, that's not that loud actually. Let me see. Well, we might want to do it like around -17. Okay, so here's the fun part where you open up your playlist and then you will split by channel the whole beat so far. So you split by channel the whole beat. You take it, you pull it down, you pull it down, you pull it down, you pull it down. I hope everyone saw that. All I did was you go to the first pattern, which is where you had your whole beat, and then you click patterns, and then you click split by channel, and then you bring each component of the beat down on its own track so you can get to sequencing and arranging the track, and then you duplicate it across. And a very easy, quick and easy way to have an intro is just remove all the drums. Something like that. A good way to like put a stop or a drop in your beat is to select all like this and then just pull it back. And then if you just experiment with those, you'll find little hot pockets of dopeness. Okay, so let's say that that's like the beginning is the hook, and then so from there, you can then go back to this section. And then that's pretty much it. And I'm oversimplifying it on purpose so all my beginners out there can get going and realize that they don't have to try and complicate it. And even some of the more experienced producers out there, sometimes we do too much. So also, during playback, take out little things before the marker gets there so you can hear how it sounds. And if you don't like it, then just put it right back to where it was and just try different things. And a lot of times you'll realize you'll want to keep them, and that'll give your music a lot of dynamics and drops. And then you'll be able to do things on the fly, do things as you're listening to it in playback. You'll be able to hear things, and you'll be like, okay, this sounds dope. And then you'll keep it, and you'll keep rolling. Okay, so let's say that you make it this far, right, and you're like, man, I'm not even really feeling that melody. So this is 1 minute and 30 seconds, and actually to make it a full, you can go like this. That'll be 3 minutes or 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Nowadays, the song isn't even that long, which makes it easier on producers. You can right click right here and then go create automation clip. And this is a super fast, easy way to give your songs a fade out, like a professional sound of fade out. You just right click and then you click create automation clip, and then this master volume will show up. All you do is real simple. Well, you go to the beginning first and then you right click and then you click copy value. That is just so you can make sure you don't lose any of the volume level. And then you can right click right here. Do you see it bend a little bit? So then you just go paste and it'll bring it right back to where it's supposed to be, and then drag this down, and then now you have a real quick fast fade out. But actually you might want to start a little bit earlier, and if you do, you just might want to do it. Remember, paste right there so we make sure we don't lose any, because sometimes if you click it'll like drop it just like a fraction. So let's say that we're not feeling this melody at all, right? And then we want to change it. So one thing you could do is to test it out. You can just click make unique, so you can mess around with this one, and then you know, you're not committed to changing the whole entire beat, and then you can always change it back. So let's go into this and see if we can. That's a little something that you might want to. So let's say I like the change, so I'll make it in the real version, and that'll change it all in those. Another thing you could do is you can drop the octave. So it's right here, but let me see. I just did it already. I kind of like it right there better, because sometimes when your beat is just too high in the higher registers, it can get. Let me hear this. What I might do is then just like lift everything up. Like if you hold shift and then you hit up, you can like do it. You can lift everything up a half tone instead of a full octave. I'm not gonna do it right now just for time's sake, but that's another octave. That's another option. Well, forget it. I'm gonna do it because I just want to do it. So it's, you hold shift and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's a better register, so I'm going to do it right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then remember we got to do the 808s too then, so that would be hold shift and you go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these two. So you hold shift and go. Well, go down one octave first, and then hold shift and go 1, 2, 3, 4 to bring it up. And that should bring everything back to the same. Sometimes when you just lower it a little bit. I like the kick better at the lower octave. Let me see. That's cool. actually, it's all good. I'm not really happy with it, but at the end of the day, hey, upload one beat a day sometimes more important than from a marketing standpoint than from like perfecting your beat and sitting on them for months, never releasing them, never doing nothing with them, never going nowhere with them. Sometimes it's just better to be like, hey, an 80% beat sometimes is good enough. Good enough is good enough. You got other things to do. And it's good to understand is that this is the business part of the beat making process. The actual making of the beat is making the product. That's like operation. It's definitely like it's gonna make or break your brand. Don't get me wrong. You need to have like dope beats, but sometimes I feel as producers we prioritize making the beat and like perfecting it and spending years and years and years on like getting ourselves to a point where we're gonna be ready, and then we listen to somebody on the radio, you know, who is just starting out, just only been making beats for a couple months, and they just, you know, they weren't perfect. They weren't like perfect with it. They just moved forward. So that's the whole idea. I want you to kind of embrace is just move forward. Sometimes it's not going to be perfect. Sometimes you just got to let it go. What I might like is what other people might like. The change you just heard me do, you might sit back there and be like, man, I liked it. I like it way better. I might say I might not like it as much. Do you know who gets to vote? The artist, the paying artist. Whatever they like is what you should follow, and the opinion that you should follow, not even yours, you know, and get real in tune with what the artist likes. So I told you I'm gonna have a bonus at the end. I'm gonna let you download this FLP, so click the link in the description. I'm gonna give you this FLP, and in the comments, let me know what you think. If I left out some tips that you got, or if you need some help, you have questions for me, let me know. I'll take care of you. All right, peace.